My intention was to create a sort of hyper object with a lot of different entry points. I'm envisioning this exhibit as sort of looking at a black hole where you can't see the light that is inside the black hole, but you can see the way that the black hole impacts the light around it. I've created a new sound work for the piece using, I guess, found sound, sort of a sampling approach to Miles Davis's Kind of Blue, which I've stretched out to be a sort of 2-hour ambient soundscape. The texts that are included are some of the ideas or different entry points to the ideas that I'm thinking about and working with here. Black Meridian, which is partly where I got the title by Cormac McCarthy. Some people say it's the great American novel or the great un-American novel, but I was really struck by Cormac McCarthy's telling of an experience in America, but more specifically kind of the extreme violence that he writes in a sort of like biblical kind of quotidian way. And I felt like that quotidian sort of epic scale of violence and transformation sort of got close to that process of transformation, I think, from African peoples to Black American peoples. And so I took that and sort of flipped it, I guess sampled the title into Black Meridian, which we have here. So I've been collecting images for years, but I more recently this year started a project, 12 frames per week, which has been a kind of exercise in curation and I guess speaking with images. They're not my images, but they are found and speak to one another in some sort of way that is maybe not so concrete, but conveys some sort of feeling or energy. Because the connection between African and Black people is a large part of the work, a lot of the books are by artists or thinkers or writers that I really admire. And so I think that's another way to kind of acknowledge that I am working in a much larger tradition and continuum that has been here long before me. My first impression of the space was that it has its own character, and it's not just the sort of white cube gallery space. And actually, one of the texts in here, Race in Modern Architecture, which is a collection of essays, is something I was reading. And so really thinking about like what this sort of adornment and what the architecture of the space actually means in terms of the work, and allowing the audience to just interact in that space and come up with their own conclusions or make their own connections. And so that's something that I'm interested in exploring further in more work. So I think maybe this is the first iteration of what that can be.